playing an instrument, spoken word, or dance? Then this is your moment. Cayman's Got Talent Season 1 is here. And for our first season, we're putting the spotlight on gospel. Selected participants will be featured at the Point of Praise Gospel Extravaganza on October 25, 2025. But hurry, the final date for registration is September 30. To register, email us at info@flashpointmedia.ky or WhatsApp 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your talent and be part of something special. K-Man got talent.
A good morning to everyone. Of course, K-Man got talent. Yes, I got talent. I got talent.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. Welcome to the breakfast hour. I am Lady Elise, sitting in for Lady Elise this morning, sitting in for myself, and I am so excited to be here with you. I hope you have had an absolutely wonderful weekend, and we are certainly happy. Morning, Mikey G. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I mean, it's another Monday morning, and we are still alive, and we are able to see this one. So much has happened on the weekend and into the week last week, and so, there's much to give thanks for. One of the things that we always remember not to forget is that no matter how much possession you have, life is the most important of all the possessions that you could have.
I am telling you.
Nothing supersedes having your life. Nothing at all. It's like, I asked the question, we had a conversation some time ago, and, it was popping up all the time. We said it. If somebody should give you $1 million,
right?
How would you feel? People, wake up in the morning and they're so unhappy with themselves and happy with their families. And happy with so many different things. And so the question is, if I give you $1 million, would you be happy? The person says, yes. But let me fix this. 1 million, I'm going to give $10 million. If you get $10 million.
Right.
And what they're going to put a twist in there, a twister for you, a little shifter. But you won't wake up after getting the 10 million. Would you be happy? Which one will you choose?
Yeah.
He says, I would choose just waking up. He said, over $10 million?
Yeah.
One person is in a situation and they're having some person come in and they're going to rob them and kill them at the same time, or rob them. And it says, I will give you anything, just spare my life.
Yes.
Because all the possessions that you have, all the things that you try to steal from everybody, everything that you grab and do all the things and grab for yourself.
What's more important?
You no longer want to keep it. It's like you take everything, and the person come and say, you know what, I don't want you to give it to me. All I want to do is to take your life from you. All the possessions that you have, you can keep it. All I'm going to do is take your life. You know what that means?
Yeah.
It is really a serious place to be when you think about life in that sense. And sometimes we look at the having of it in such a callous way. We treat it with such level of disrespect.
Yes.
And then worst of all, we don't just treat it with disrespect. We treat the giver of it with even more disrespect. So it is important. I want to say to all those who are just joining us for the first time, go ahead and hit the notification bell, and just, that whenever time one of these programs comes up, you get it first. Like and share it with somebody else that they may also benefit from the experience as well.
Yes. It has been one of those weekends, Mikey G, that you have to take an introspective look. But certainly I am feeling blessed and I'm certainly happy to be in this space this morning. Had a conversation this weekend, and one of the high points that came out is that your purpose has to be more than just merely breathing and living every day and just, in your immediate surroundings. It has to be reaching beyond your immediate circle. And I'm thankful for Flashpoint for that reason. And so, as you join us this morning, I would encourage you to go ahead and share the link. Want to reach out to those persons who are listening via our web radio, www.flashpointmedia.ky. We welcome you. And if you are tuned in on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, certainly we do welcome you as well. As usual, we start with our devotional, and at this time, it's time to hear what's our devotional thought for today.
All right, so our devotion is brought to us by M&M Construction for all your construction needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. And today, of course, no other than the lady Mrs. Susan Long will bring us this morning's experience of our devotional this
morning. Good morning. This is day. Then God saw their works, that they turned from their evil way, and God relented. Jonah chapter 3 verse 10. Anger or applause? Written by David McCasland. How do we react when God shows mercy to people we think deserve punishment? If we are resentful, it may indicate that we have forgotten how much the Lord has forgiven us. After Jonah followed God's second call to preach his coming judgment on Nineveh, the people of the city turned from their evil lifestyle, so the Lord did not destroy them. God's mercy made Jonah angry. He told God he had been afraid this would happen, and that's why he fled to Tarshish in the first place. I know that you are a gracious and merciful God, one who relents from doing harm. But the Lord said to Jonah, should I not pity Nineveh, that great city in which are more than 120,000 persons? God's marvelous grace is greater than all our sin. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is a gift of God. Because of his grace to us, we should be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave us. Instead of being angry when God is merciful, we should applaud. What love the Father has bestowed on me. For this I cannot help but be thankful. I read his word, I embrace his promise, and daily praise him for his matchless grace. Our quote this morning reads, we can stop showing mercy to others when Christ stops showing mercy to us. End quote.
Looking to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G. Lady Elise and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Do you have a talent for singing, playing an instrument, spoken word, or dance? Then this is your moment. Cayman's Got Talent Season 1 is here. And for our first season, we are putting the spotlight on gospel. Selected participants will be featured at the Point of Praise Gospel Extravaganza on October 25, 2025. But hurry, the final date for registration is September 30. To register, email us at info@flashpointmedia.ky or WhatsApp 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your talent and be part of something special. Cayman's Got Talent.
Call and say, hello, Miss Lee. Yes, it's me, Earthquake. I coming Tuesday around 10. No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced. And when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up, are full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors, in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Welcome back. You're tuned into the breakfast hour, and I am Lady Elise alongside Mikey G, and we are planning to take you through this morning in fine style. Now, on Monday, we focus on what's happening in our world, and you don't have to listen too hard or be too deliberate in your listening to hear what's happening in the news regarding Charlie Kirk. Have you heard of him before? Is he someone new on your radar? And if you should just pull up, let's all just find out who this person is that's making the news, Mikey G.
You know, Lady Elise, it has been a very interesting place to sit for a while.
Yes.
And I've been one of those who, while I did not follow him on any of the social media platform, like I'm not sure if I don't think I have a following in that sense, but I would follow him still with the conversation that he would have been having.
Yes.
And the issues that he would be talking. And so I would agree with some of the things that he would say. And of course, I would have my disagreements on some of the things that he would say. So you must understand that I have my balance there where I can say, I am not going to be running with this conversation that you're having and what you're saying don't really align with something, but then when you look at it, you know, I can agree with this aspect of what you're saying, you know. And so I am one of those persons who will say that, you know, for the most part of it, I do enjoy the debates with some of the conversations that take place. He speaks on the sense of abortions and lifestyle living, you know, different things. I even listened to him on the DEI lineup story. Some things I agree on, some things I might have a way to think about that or give me some food for thought.
Yes.
You know, but I listen to it and I'm saying to myself, you know, but if we have free speech, why should someone kill someone for just talking about what they believe?
Right.
I should have the right to speak on what I believe because everybody else seems to have that right. Why shouldn't I have the right to say what I believe? It is like this is the First Amendment right. Have the right freedom of speech. But if you notice, freedom of speech is not so free anymore because I realize that some persons who spoke against the whole issues, I have listened to conversation that people have been fired from their jobs or being marginalized or something. And I also think that, you know, in this sense, it is a very, very dangerous precedent to set for using one's opinions to basically sideline them. But in essence, in truth and in fact, what you believe is really what aligns you to where you are.
Yes.
Because if I am voting on a political line, say I am voting for, in Jamaica, you have what you call the labor rights and you have the PNPs, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
If I am a staunch labor right and speaking for the labor rights, would anybody want me to speak on the platform for the PNP?
No.
No. You know, and so we have to understand that everyone, and so when the PNP is elected and I am claiming labor rightism or vice versa, would they want to grab me to put me as the first tier lieutenant of one of their major arms of security for the country or something in that manner as a labor right? Or if labor rights are in power, I'm a PNP man and they put me as their in their top tier of the government. They wouldn't put me there. Would they put me there? You know? Would they want to put me there? And so I don't see myself aligning with finding myself to be accepted in that. And so you know that you are never going to be that person. They're never going to choose you to be the permanent secretary of some major arm of the government, being aligned with an opposition party. And so these are stuff that is necessary. And so the opposition and the government is what democracy, as we claim democracy to be, is hinged on.
Mm-hmm.
Is opposition. The ability for you to oppose something that you see, or in fact, they say a strong opposition holds the tenets of democracy. Not for the purpose of opposing everything, but to be objective in your opposing of things, and to share also solutions to the objections of some of the things, or opposing of some of the things that you oppose. Having said that, as I said before earlier, as I started the debates on the Charlie Kirk issue, you know, he went off and he did quite a few things, but he amassed a great following from what he did. And some of those things were debating, or like I said before, he debated the idea of transgenderism, he debated the idea of DEI, he debated the idea of abortion rights, and among the many debates that he may come up with. In fact, he had a debate at one point to ask a question, what is a woman? And people were debating what a woman is. And I didn't know that these things could have been debates, or could have become a debate and stuff like that. So these are some of the things that actually happen over the whole time.
I have actually been doing some research myself. I'm trying to find that page with that research that I've, for persons who want to have just and there's a video that you shared with me that I also have access to that I'll be sharing. But just to quickly read according to BBC who this person is that's making the news.
Yes.
Now he's the son of an architect who grew up in the well-to-do Chicago suburb of Prospect Heights, and he attended an Illinois community college before dropping out to devote himself to political activism. He also applied unsuccessfully for West Point, the elite U.S. military academy. Kirk often referred tongue-in-cheek to his lack of college degree when debating students and academics on esoteric topics such as postmodernism. Now, that is what I found interesting.
Yeah.
I found interesting because I think I listened to a debate as it relates to what we are taught in colleges and some of the courses of study and how beneficial it is to society. And it's so interesting that having started his journey in college, he would have decided, this is not for me, and I'm going to dedicate. And he could, let's put it out there, he could argue a point with persons in college.
Well, ladies, I'm not going to beat the idea of schooling or having education. I will never do that as a person who have been a part of the education system for a while and would have touched many lives in that area, and students would benefit from that. But I would also say to you that when we overemphasize the college degrees and sometimes make it seem as if that those who did not get one will never be successful or achieve anything, it also is franchising of others to claim this narrative, because it is not true. And I rightly would see many persons who have never had a university degree would have done much better than those who have one, and I've seen many people who have one do better than persons who don't have one. Right, so it is on both sides of the fence that this is happening, and so you should not discredit those who don't. But at the same time, for those who choose to want to do it, you should not put for me to discourage them and to say that it is not a righteous path that you should go on, because for the understanding of what education is, it simply means that you will be able to study someone's life in 30 minutes. What they have done for a lifetime and a dying of a good old age of 80 years. But regurgitating one's life doesn't mean that you have the experience that they have and you then understand that. And so we have to understand education as what it does and understand the level of experience that you must have after having this education.
And what I take from that too, Mikey G, we learn about the school of life and how the journey of life takes you and different places. And listen, that's something I believe in respecting every single person, no matter their station of life. If this person is securing your home, if this person is cleaning your floor, that person knows the best tools to use to clean the floor. And therefore, you ascribe that respect and knowledge to that person, and respect the person no matter where, if they have their doctoral degree or if they don't have a doctoral degree, but they're doing what they know how to do and doing it well. I believe that that's a principle that I stand firm on.
I would share this with you. Lady Elise. When the COVID-19 situation came up, the persons who were janitors or person who picked up the garbage got a elevated status of sanitary technicians, and so it became something that because the people who claimed that they had hierarchy status realized that the garbage stinking inside their homes was not a pleasant thing to have, and so quickly they recognized the necessity of persons who actually operated and they were upgraded from garbage collectors to sanitary technicians and operators. But this is what I want to extend our conversation to, Lady Liz, into the idea of Charlie Kirk's book that he was writing, a bestseller before releasing on the market, and actually talking about the Sabbath as it's in the name of God. Stop. I think it's the title of the book, and so it is something of a big conversation as persons of Seventh-day Adventist faith. How does that impact you or persons who would be in the Seventh-day Adventist faith? Talking about Sabbath, this person who possibly, I don't know if he's a Seventh-day Adventist, but he believes in the Sabbath, and how much he has impacted the world on this. Yeah. And I would say that for him to do this, it is a place where the Adventist faith can step up a little bit higher and have the conversation now, because he has opened a door that possibly was shut for a long time, and the best efforts of this faith would have possibly wasn't able to pry this door open this wide. And so we might have to take an advantage of this, to use this platform at this point as a stepping stone, to actually utilize, as is that I would say this gentleman, nobody wills evil thing as this to happen to anyone.
Yes.
But his legacy, I don't know what the book says yet, but I'm believing that we must get one. That's the mere point of the matter. And so this book is going to be a better seller than a bestseller, because everybody is going to want to know, what is he talking about the Sabbath? Now, whether this man have the Seventh-day Adventist faith and or belief system in place, I do not know. But then it is to see what he's saying that we can either know or not know what his stance is. And if he's talking about the Sabbath as the seventh-day Sabbath, or Sabbath as Sunday Sabbath, let's see what he's talking about, because we do not know. Because many persons believe that Sabbath can be adjusted to the day that you choose it to be on, and say, and so we have the Sunday Sabbath, we have Saturday Sabbath, and so which one of the Sabbath is he talking about? You understand? And so we can't fight people over what they believe, but we want to know if our belief system aligns with yours. And so that is where we are at this point. And so I would really like to see what his book says. But he made a big impact. I understand that a lot of persons went out yesterday, last Sabbath, in honor of him. They went to the temple to, give some homage to this reason.
Right. So if you're just joining us for the breakfast hour, our conversation on Mondays features what's happening in our world. And if you've been following the news recently, you would have been hearing of the name Charlie Kirk. Now, I started to read a little bit about him. He's an avid public speaker, 31-year-old, touring the country addressing Republican events, many of which were popular with members of the ultra-conservative Tea Party movement, and his daily talk radio show had millions of followers on social media. Turning Point, which he started at age 18, aimed to spread conservative ideas at liberal-leaning U.S. colleges. The event of the Utah Valley University, where he was gunned down, yes, unfortunately, was the first stop on a planned 15-event American comeback tour of college campuses where attendees were invited to argue with Kirk. Now, I have the video ready. It's almost time to get out of studio, Mikey G. But I'm sure you would want us to share this video.
I'll share a little bit of it, excerpts of it.
All right, let's see if we have it ready for you.
All right, let's get into it.
And to our own failure, we as Christians have decided to cast away resting on one of the 7 days.
Charlie Kirk left behind one last project, a book about the Sabbath, titled Stop in the Name of God, Why Honoring the Sabbath Will Transform Your Life. It hasn't even been published yet, but it will be released hopefully this December. We'll return to that in a little bit, because it reveals something important about Charlie's heart at the end of his life. But first, we need to pause. The world has lost a voice that mattered. Charlie Kirk was not perfect, none of us are, but he was consequential. He stirred debates, mobilized young people, and refused to stay silent. And the fact that his death has been celebrated by some despicable voices only proves the point. If the enemy is glad you're gone, it's because your life carried weight. Charlie Kirk was more than a commentator. He built Turning Point USA into one of the most influential youth movements in the world. He debated on college campuses, wrote best-selling books, and never shied away from cultural battles others avoided. But here is what's often missed. Charlie didn't see America's problems as merely political. He saw them as deeply spiritual. And he knew the answer wouldn't come from Washington, D.C. alone. It had to come from God and from the hearts of people. Some say politics and religion should never mix, but scripture and history tell us they always do. Protecting the unborn, for example, is spoken of in the Bible, guarding children from harmful ideologies, marriage, family. Even the founding fathers understood this well. George Washington, all these quotes are from before the turn of the century until 1799. This is from 1796, George Washington. Of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. John Adams, 1798, our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. Jefferson, in 1785, can the liberties of a nation be thought secure when we have removed their only firm basis, a conviction that these liberties are a gift of God? For both the founders and Charlie Kirk, faith wasn't just private. It was the backbone of liberty. And the conviction shows in the very last book he left behind. Not another book about culture wars or politics, but about the Sabbath. In the description of this book, he says that this book will help you discover how observing the Sabbath isn't a rejection of modern life, but a rebellion against a busyness and a pathway to genuine connection, peace, and presence. Through Stop in the Name of God, you will learn how to unplug, recharge, and reconnect with God, family, and yourself in a way that nurtures your soul. In a world dominated by screens and constant noise, this book is a radical act of resistance. All right, so just like many of the other takes that Charlie held, he held on to the Sabbath as a Catholic, right? We know that Catholics change the Sabbath, but when you have a heart for the Creator, it doesn't matter what the tenets of your religion say, but only what the Creator says. And he knew that this came from creation. This was
very interesting conversation, Mikey G. You know, as I listen to this, there is so much hope for me. And as I read that information supplied by BBC to say that at 18 years old, he was able to have a own belief for himself. You know, the people say you can't think for yourself. You're just going with the flow.
Going with everybody else's ideas is your idea.
Everybody else's idea, but he, even with all his upbringing, he was able to think for himself.
Even as a Catholic, he knew.
Yes, what is true education? That's the question. And what have we been taken for granted as people when we go? And I really am listening to the conversation, and I'm going way deeper than even his debates, but who this man was. And at 31 years old, to be gunned down in public on September 10, certainly that's not the way we intended for him to make the news, but certainly he would have been standing up for whatever he thought was
right. Yes.
Yeah, and you know, and you know, what when I listen to his debates, Mikey G,
Yeah.
what kind of impresses me is the confidence in which he was able to have conversation with persons in school and studying. He had no problem listening to what they're thinking, what are the thoughts of the young people, engaging the youth, which is important, engaging the future, and
Yes.
certainly, I think, encouraging them to think
Yes.
for themselves. This is what I
I
believe.
looked at what you call polarized campuses that were being
Yes.
taught. Children were taught all sort of nonsense in
Yes.
from the schools, and I only knew of this because Charlie Kirk was debating some
Right.
of these persons and bring out some of the things that were taught in those schools, Lady Ellis. And I
Yes.
would tell you that it troubled me very badly when I listened to some of those conversations that those youngsters were having, and they sound
Yes.
so confident in themselves to speak that level of ridiculousness that they were talking about, and they believe it. They believe it, and just to understand they actually believe this thing was even more troubling to me. You know, and when the debate came up and Charlie Kirk would ask simple questions. A simple question to a young man or a young lady, what is a woman, is a very difficult question in today's world.
Well, let me say this to you, that it might, when we say ridiculous and qualifying it, we can say that sometimes it is quite easy to find ourselves in a position that we are going with the flow.
Well,
We do it in every sector of our lives, and it's not only related to our spiritual growth. Are we talking about how we approach life professionally too, and what we are sold and what we take in and what we, but do we spend the time to dissect ourselves? It might look simple in retrospect. You
Yes.
say hindsight is 2020. When you look back and say, can you believe I believe that? I really.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Lady Elise. Here's the thing, Lady Elise. Many Christians believe in abortions. Many Christians believe in the right for abortions, and not that the right that the, you know. Here's a debate that somebody came up with.
Oh, but that can of worms right now, Mikey.
No, I want to say this. I want to say this.
Yes.
When you talk about the abortion rights of somebody who is critical and in danger of having a child, and the child might cause the life of the mother, there's a thing called cesarean section that actually exists today that possibly didn't exist before at a certain time.
Yes.
And so this was applicable is to a situation where somebody would be in a trauma situation that this can happen. Now, there are many other medical situations that can go wrong, that a birth can cause the harm of a mother, and that is to be taken into consideration. But it should not be a birth control method. You see where I'm going? We have to look at that. It cannot be a birth control method. And when this was a debate, I could listen to persons just want to claim that the life of a child, the reason for killing the baby or getting rid of the child is because you think it wasn't a human being at an embryo.
Yeah, well, I listened to that debate as well. Listen, when we have the conversation, Mikey G, we can't have it in isolation. We have to bring up the video.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're not doing that, but
we have to pause the video. We have to think about it. We have to share it with our viewers. And I mean, we are still in the middle of this one. I don't know if you want us to go.
I think we're going to cut it. I don't think we're going to get into any more of it. I think we're going to leave it where it is. But what I want to say is this, that the Sabbath conversation has come up, all right? Amongst all the conversation. And he spoke on some DEI things where he spoke about black people and stuff like that. I would have to go and listen to some of those contents because I listened to some things and he was talking about black people being, and this is one of the points that I saw, a pilot was being employed because of his color of his skin, because they wanted to make it equal, and the lowering of the standards for black people and women to be employed. I have been listening to that conversation, I'm still not in agreement with some of the things that he's saying around that idea. So I have to make that clear that this is where I'm standing. So I've listened to that side of the conversation as well. But there are some things that are etched in it as well that I might. There's even a fire chief that is how much years a fire chief over time, I experienced man over 30 years, and he actually had a conversation to say about that this gentleman was not possibly qualified, or if not qualified, I'm not saying that he said that. Don't want to paraphrase what he said, but then the conversation was insinuating at some point people were saying that this is the conversation that was going on. He was saying this. Now, I have not listened to the full essence of the clip, so I can't speak fully to it. So I'm going to be educating myself on a few of those things as well to see where these things are. But for the better part of it, I can disagree with some of the things that he may say, or not so much agree with something, but I can agree with some things. He has raised the point of it, the Sabbath right now, and this is a door that has been open, that has been shut for so long, and it has come to the knowledge of many persons who are Catholics, who actually they are saying now that the Catholics change the day of worship, and they are looking at it as a definite attack on God's word. For the first time, we could hear the world listening to this conversation in a real way. So for Seventh-day Adventists, it is a door that is open that we should take advantage of, and actually don't gloat that we knew it all the time, but at the same time, in humility, go out there and start to teach God's word and have an impact on the society. Be standing up for something for God's sake.
And Michael G, when you have the conversation, I wondered what sowed that first seed in Charlie Kirk's mind. What opened the door? What was the reason for its conviction? No, I can't ask him in person because he's already gone.
Yes.
But certainly it's a lesson for us as people.
Yes.
That it is important for you to understand for your very own self.
Yes. You must know for yourself what you believe. Know for yourself.
Have that conviction for your own self. Study, yes. And in these days, let me tell you a secret, Mikey G. In these days, there are many options for learning. There are many options for us to explore for ourselves. And there are many platforms for us to share our knowledge and to have the conversation. Unfortunately, as I said, the conversation resulted in the death of Charlie Kirk, but let us resolve in our own minds that we will not just take things and just be gullible. And before we get out of studio, Mikey G, because unfortunately it's that
I know, but I want to say this, Liz. How many persons, I just asked the one question, how many persons have put themselves out there to speak against issues that affect societies and would have made a mark and put yourself at risk of doing that? Dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, to say something that people are going to ridicule you to say it, but stand up anyhow to say it. I can claim myself to be one person, I can claim myself, I can point on myself to be that person as well. I'm not. People who know me would say, Michael G, you talk something sometimes, it don't make any sense. But I say it because I feel convicted and I can say it. No, come up and say to me why you feel that way, and let's have a conversation about it. And that's what I would say.
Unfortunately, though, and I said that though, Mikey G, it's when persons are gone. This song comes forcibly to mind. That's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a better world. That song, and yes. You hear of persons after they are gone. After they have given their very soul and their life and stood up for what they believe. Unfortunately, it's after they have gone, and then you said, this person did all of this and stood up. Let us be persons who stand for something, believe in something, and unmovable, unshakable. And as I read that, I will read a breakfast hour. I will share a thought that was shared with me by Chaplain C.H. Edwards. It says, every situation in life in life is temporary. Seasons change, storms pass, and nothing lasts forever. When life is good, don't take it for granted. Embrace the joy, cherish the people around you, and live in gratitude. When life is not so good, hold on to hope because pain is not permanent. Darkness always gives way to light, and trials always lead to triumph. Better days are not just coming, they are being prepared for you. Thank you so much, Claude. Thank you for sharing that thought with us, and I'm sure it will certainly be of benefit to someone this morning. I want to thank you for tuning into the breakfast hour. Today we are keeping it real. We are talking about a man who gave his very life for what he believed in. And if you are just joining us for the very first time, I ask you to just give us a like, share, and subscribe. And if there's any conversation that you want to be a part of, certainly go ahead and send us a message. You can message us on the chat on YouTube or send us a WhatsApp message on 345-321-6969. Our news comes up next, Mike G. Our news from Cayman and the rest of the world.
Well, what I would say, Lady Elise, is that most of our ministers don't have to worry about any assassination attempts or anything, because everything you speak about is so nice and so ice cream sugar coated that everybody's in alignment with the conversation and agreeable people. We agree with everything, so you don't have to worry. Nobody is going to trouble you, so you're safe. You can go in public and speak everywhere. It's okay. Don't worry. You understand? You don't have any controversial persons. Oh, Michael G, you're so controversial. Yes, I am controversial because you're saying something that I disagree with, and I'm going to say it to you, not behind you, to your face. And so, yes, come talk to me about what I disagree with you with, and so we can have that conversation. We know many people like that, especially standing up, strong faith. So don't worry, guys. You won't get anybody trying to attack you. You are safe. Right?
I know this is not the right time, or is it the right time? Before we go over to the news, I want to just say a special happy belated birthday to our VIP Lady Cassandra. I hope that you had a wonderful, wonderful day. May the Lord bless you abundantly, more than you can ever ask or imagine or think. Our month-end birthday celebration for VIPs continue this September 28th at Smith Cove Beach. I don't know, maybe we'll be doing something very special on the menu. You must be a part of the birthday club. If you want to join, please also send us.
You have a birthday in there for Talia Williams as well. Atalia. Atalia, who have a birthday on the 13th. That was on Saturday, actually. And so she also celebrates her birthday. Do you have a picture you could pull up for me quickly? I don't know if you do. I don't know. Let me see.
Yes.
All right, pull up a picture for me there. Let me see if I can grab that one. So Talia celebrates her birthday on the 13th of September 2025, and she's 1 more year older than she was.
1 more year pandem.
1 more year pandem, Talia. That's what I would say. All right, so you're pulling a picture up for me. Let me see if we can get that one in before we get out of here. So he comes up with Lady Talia's birthday. Yeah, I'm celebrating one more day today. Alright, so celebrating that birthday today is the beautiful Talia that is having a birthday on Saturday. So just wanted to make that clear, to share that one with you this morning. Alright, so we won't play any music on that, but we'll say happy birthday and many, many, many more to come. Of course, it's news time right here on Flashpoint, and we are definitely going to be talking a little bit more about stuff that are happening in our community. Of course, you know, it's a very touchy topic that we touched on just now, and many persons don't wish to be a part of the conversation because it's too much, it's too controversial. So that's always the coward's view. He's always saying, I don't want to talk about it because, you know, yeah, if you speak about what you should speak about, people are going to dislike you and you're going to come up, opposition will come. Persons who believe in the work of God, you don't speak about what you're supposed to speak about. Don't worry, nobody will come up. You're not in opposition to anything, so you're safe. But for those who stand up for the word, they will have opposition. Don't remember Oscar and Jerome and these guys. You don't remember these people. In the last days, the Bible says there are going to be persons who stand up for me and they will become martyrs. People will try to hurt you just because you stand up. So I'm saying, if you don't see anybody disagreeing with you or upset with you, because you're not standing up. And that's just what it is. Don't worry. You don't have to worry too much. It's a time when this argument is now, a door has been opened and you need to be up there speaking, ringing the trumpet and loud let it ring, and tell people about coming of Christ. Not in a cliche way, but there are things that they need to know, that when you speak it, people will be upset that you said it, and so you must speak those too. Alright, there's a song I play. It says, no ice cream love, no ice cream, don't want ice cream, no ice cream religion right now. Alright guys, so lose the ice cream and the religion and just give the raw word. Let it, the two-edged sword, take off the ice cream off the edge of the sword and make the sword run. You know, let it run. Alright, news time. Our news is brought to us by SI Ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They are conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Lasco One and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's a new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco One and Up is...
The time by Lasco One and Up is 8:56 in the AM right here in the studios of Flashpoint and in the Grand Cayman Islands. Of course, it's news time.
Good morning, Cayman. It's Monday, September 15th, Here are the top stories making news across the Cayman Islands, the Caribbean, and beyond. Pedestrian killed, another hospitalized after late-night collision. A tragic crash on West Bay Road has left one man dead and another seriously injured. Police say the incident happened just before midnight on Friday near Lone Star when two men crossing the road with a trolley were struck by a white pickup truck. Emergency medical services responded, but one victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The second was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. The 29-year-old driver from Borden Town failed a roadside breath test and was arrested on suspicion of drunk driving. He has since been released on bail as investigations continue. Accident reconstruction officers temporarily closed the road overnight. Police are urging witnesses to contact the Traffic and Roads Policing Unit or provide anonymous tips through Cayman Crime Stoppers. UCCI celebrates literacy in schools. As part of its Golden Jubilee, the University College of the Cayman Islands marked International Literacy Day with visits to Sir John A. Comba and Red Bay Primary Schools. Faculty and students read stories with children under this year's theme, Promoting Literacy in the Digital Era. At Sir John A. Comba, sessions ended with students chanting, "Readers are leaders." UCCI officials said the initiative not only inspired children but also energized the university team ahead of more Jubilee events later this month. Credit Union launches children's book on financial literacy. The CICSA Cooperative Credit Union has published its first children's book, From Humble Beginnings, Teaching the Values of Saving and Budgeting. Written by staff and illustrated by local artist Michael M. Leto Morton, the story follows an 8-year-old boy and his grandmother on a journey through Georgetown. The credit union has been touring schools across the Cayman Islands, reading the book to students. Each story session highlights both financial lessons and Caymanian culture. Guardians of the Reef, Cayman Lighthouses. A historical look at Cayman's lighthouses reveals their evolution from kerosene-lit masts in the early 1900s to modern solar-powered navigational aids. Once essential guardians of the reef, lighthouses today stand more as heritage monuments. The government recently purchased the site of the Botswan Point Light in West Bay, which will soon serve as a new district police station, continuing its role as a guardian in a new way. Meals on Wheels gears up for Seniors Rock fundraiser. Cayman residents are encouraged to wear orange and support the Meals on Wheels Seniors Rock Dress Down Day on Friday, September 26th. For $25, participants can purchase a t-shirt with each shirt feeding a senior for 1 week. This year, Café del Sol joins as a sponsor with part proceeds from its Brewed for Good Orange Gold Brew going to the cause. Healthcare boost for Cayman BRAC. Plans are underway for a new Hope Oncology and Dialysis Center on Cayman BRAC. The $1.4 million project will be built on Faith Hospital and aims to reduce the need for residents to travel to Grand Cayman for treatment. The facility will include dialysis stations, chemotherapy chairs, and virtual consultation suites. Community fundraising continues with the Health Service Authority set to manage operations once the center is complete. Now to regional news. Barbados reminds businesses of annual substance filings. The Ministry of Energy and Business in Barbados is reminding companies engaged in relevant financial and commercial activities to file their annual economic substance declarations. Failure to comply could result in penalties of up to $10,000. Mexico urged to harness migration for growth. The head of the International Organization for Migration, Amy Pope, says Mexico can turn migration into a driver of national development. During her visit, she highlighted labor shortages across industries and encouraged integration policies to harness migrants' skills. And over in Virgin Islands, they prepares for anti-crime summit. Gun violence and domestic violence are driving a 13% rise in crime across the Virgin Islands, according to police officials. The territory will host its first anti-crime summit later this month, bringing together government, community groups, and youth to develop solutions under the theme Safe Communities, Prosperous Territory. Venezuela expands cryptocurrency use in oil trade. OPEC reports Venezuela's crude oil production remains stable at just under 1 million barrels per day, even as U.S. sanctions persist. State oil company PDVSA has increasingly turned to cryptocurrency, particularly USDT stablecoins, for oil sales as access to US dollars remains restricted. And over in Jamaica, students urges peers to know their rights. The Cartridge College student Brittany Bryan has called on her peers to study the Constitution and understand their fundamental rights. Speaking at the ceremonial reopening of schools, Bryan also encouraged students to protect their mental health and show kindness to one another. St. Andrew Church of Christ mentors youth in Jamaica. The St. Andrew Church of Christ has launched a structured mentorship program pairing church youth with experienced mentors. Leaders say the initiative blends spiritual guidance with career and personal development. Mentors and mentees alike describe life-changing results from improved literacy to new career paths, highlighting the importance of community in raising the next generation. And on the international front, U.S. Congresswoman condemns threats to black colleges. Caribbean American Congresswoman Yvette Clarke has condemned what she called terroristic threats against historically black colleges and universities in the United States. Several campuses were locked down last week after receiving threats. Clarke urged the Department of Justice and FBI to take swift action, while Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries described the incidents as despicable and part of a rise in extremist threats nationwide. Those were your news headlines for this morning. Please continue to stay tuned for other updates throughout the day.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They are conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
All right. We're back. All right, so welcome back to the breakfast hour, gentlemen, ladies. I want to say a big shout out to Lady Stacey Adams this morning. Yeah, Stacey Adams, good morning to you. Good morning, Stacey. I thought I should say that. We're having a conversation this morning surrounding a very, not just a person, but an idea. If you dare to stand up for what you believe, you're going to be targeted and ultimately, at some point, if possible, killed for what you believe. It's not something that one would take themselves out of their comfort zone to do. Or to just go out there and say, I'm going to stand up so somebody can take a shot at me. You know, that's not a nonsense. Nobody does that. But there comes a time when you are so convicted about what you believe that you can't keep quiet because like fire shut up inside you. It's like you're exploding. Yeah. To be quiet is like have you ever shaken a soda can and just open it and see what happens? And so there are many persons like a soda can that has been shaken when the fire catch you and you stay so quiet for so long that your particles just go dormant and dead. So when they open you up, you just go you don't have any power anymore. You're just a regular, that kind of thing. But when you're like that soda that has been well shaken and pop open, you just keep flowing out. It's hard to be contained when you have that fire inside. And for the persons who claim the office of Christianity or, I'm not saying that Christians are perfect people. I would want to tell persons that are criticizing of Christians that Christians took the responsibility to be criticized of trying to live better than a dog. Don't want to be the dog that I used to be anymore. And so I try to live better than that dog that I used to be. And somebody would criticize me, look at that dog trying to live better, and he used to be. That is fine with me. Go ahead and do that. That's okay. But I will stand and say this one thing, that I am not where I used to be, even if I'm not where I want to be. And getting where you want to be is always the challenge of a person who claims Christianity, because you didn't start out as a perfect being. And for many persons who are quick to hasten to disrespect and ridicule those who try, look at yourself as somebody who has the gut or have the capacity to stand up. You're like a snake worming around without a backbone. Because if you could stand up to be that, you would have actually become something better than that. I would say to you this morning that persons who stand up to be not called by their old names and stand up for the new name. Somebody want to still call them the old name because it seems good to them to find that disrespectful way to call that person. You know what you are. And those who are being called bad names because you try to be better than that. When Jesus says forgive them because they know not what they do, is where you have to stand. Because you have to be better than that. It's hard to do because it's hurt when people try to disrespect you when you know you're not in a place where you want to be disrespected. And you try to live better than you used to live. But someone still want to come back and say, you don't remember that girl that we used to? Or the man that we used to? You might go on like saying better than people. That kind of thing. And you will always have people like that who have been living in their vomits and cannot see themselves outside of it and want you to be in that vomit with them even when you step outside of it. I would just want to say hold your head up high as persons who pursue the higher calling of wanting to be better than yourself. And for those who don't think that you can do it, I would listen to a preacher by the name of Glenn Samuels. He says, to stand up, all you have to do is get up. It made me laugh when I heard that. To stand up, all you have to do is get up. And so for those who can't stand up, just get up. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes you feel weak and your Christianity is not where you think it should be. You are still failing every day that you try. You can't have the strength that you need and you feel a failure to God and you feel like quitting and giving up. Don't quit. Don't give up. You're at the right place. If the devil is attacking you, it means you are his enemy. You are at the right place. Don't worry. Keep going. And so we talked a little bit about Charlie Kirk this morning. Like I said earlier, I don't agree with all the things that he said. But I don't disagree with everything that he says either. And so for the disagreements we have and for the agreements we have, but there's one thing that we stand in solidarity to, is that he speaks of the Sabbath that was changed from Sunday, from Sabbath, 7th day, to Sunday, 1st day. And we stand in solidarity to that conversation. He has a book out, and I believe that I'm going to be grabbing one of those books as soon as I get my hands on it, or ability to grab one. I'm going to do that. And I would suggest that we all try to do the same. And I want to know what he's talking about. So I can say, hey Charlie Kirk, I know you're gone and all of that, but I don't believe this part of what you're talking about, but I do believe this part. And I believe that we can always find a middle ground. The Bible says, even in the ranting of a fool, there is wisdom. I want to leave that with you this morning as we end the breakfast hour. See you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. I want to say happy birthday to Talia. I want to just drop this one before I go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Life. Celebrate life, celebrate life. Celebrate life.
And so I want to say happy birthday, Talia. Happy birthday to you. All right.
Happy birthday, I'm a friend. Yeah.
Of course, you are loved more than you can ever imagine. And I am telling you, it's coming from the depth of my heart this morning. All right, so let me just just for Talia this morning. Talia, you know. I have to do this one. I can't leave the studio without saying happy birthday to you. And so Talia is my baby girl, right? You must understand that it's Mikey G baby girl, right? All right.
Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, happy birthday, sweet 16.
I am not saying that she is 16.
Happy birthday, sweet.
But
Tra-la-la-la-la-la.
this is how I'm going to end my show this morning with you. I want to thank Lady Elise. I want to thank Lady Corley Karen for the able way in which she presented the news this morning and of course bring so much information to us. I want to say happy birthday to Talia this morning. Happy birthday to you, my love. I love you so much, and of course with all my heart. And of course I wish you have many more happy birthday. All right, I'm going to be leaving the studio this morning, and this is how I'm going to leave the studio with this note. For those who don't know, I will always tell you, do something to help someone. Go with God. Always know that you are the one who can, not the one who can't. Alright? Take care of yourselves. Have yourself a beautiful one. Until I see you tomorrow again. All things being equal, as my English teacher would say. Yeah, I did go on to some English languages. As my English teacher, Miss Williams, would say, if all things are equal, we will see you again next time. Have yourself a flashpoint.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way.